So we're working on a 2012 Dodge Journey. We're just doing an inspection on this thing, and I thought we'd look at a few concerns here. This is like a pre-safety check inspection. Customer's considering purchasing it. There's a transmission oil leak of some kind here. It's hard to tell where exactly that's coming from, but it's dripped on the floor, so technically it doesn't pass the safety check for that leak. It needs front brake pads and rotors. This brake pad is wore out down to the squealer. Let's see. And I think the caliper is stuck because I took it for a road test, and when I came back, this right front wheel was quite hot. And all I drove it was about 4 or 5 kilometers. I also noticed on the road test a significant whine in the drivetrain, kind of like a final drive noise. There's a bit of a pinion seal, front differential seal leak here. Not serious enough to warrant repair in my opinion, but cause for concern in the future. And it may have a hanger bearing noise because the whining noise sounds like a hanger bearing. And that's pretty sloppy. I think, yeah, that definitely has failed. That I don't know if that's the bearing that's noisy, but the support bushing is definitely shot in there. As you can see, it's torn. Let's try and lift it here. You can see it in here and over on that side there. So it needs a. I don't believe that hanger bearing is replaceable. I could be wrong, but I believe this is serviced as an assembly, this drive shaft. Also, these rear bushings in here are shot on both sides, so it needs the knuckle bushings on the bottom of the rear knuckles on both sides. That's not part of this arm, it's part of the actual knuckle. And I know you can source these now either from Dorman or out of the US, but if you go to the dealer, they want you to change this whole entire knuckle, and trust me, that's not happening. The back brakes are rusty. Probably this thing looks like it's been sitting for some time. So there's surface rust on the back rotors. That should not affect the performance. So I wouldn't call those brakes, although some guys would. The pads are relatively new by looking at them. So there's a fair amount of brake pad left, and the rotor is structurally sound. It's just surface rust. That should clean off with normal driving. That's all I've noticed so far. Otherwise, it's fairly rust-free. You know, rocker panels look pretty decent. It could use some undercoating of some kind or rust check of some kind. But it's fairly rust-free otherwise. We're going to have a look at these lower control arm bushings in here as well. They have a tendency to fatigue. This thing's got over 200,000 kilometers on it.